Hi everyone and welcome to a new Photoxel video. I'm Koshido and today I'm gonna teach you how to level any minion build. We will be using skeletons and zombies, and this is meant to be an alternative to absolution leveling. We are going to use them around level 18, while absolution you can start using it at level 12, and once both builds are online I think they are very similar in terms of speed and damage. The main difference between the two is that Absolution has some ramp-up times before getting a lot of minions, and you are scaling minion and also lightning damage. Meanwhile, the other build have zombies and the carrion golem that are always up and do most of the clearing. If anything is left, you have summon skeletons that can help you also with the single target damage. In this build you are scaling minion damage and physical damage. Depending on your endgame gear, you may have to swap a lot of gems, and this may be a reason to pick one build over the other. For example, if you're planning to play a melee minion build and you level up with Absolution, you will have to swap most of the gems. Many people prefer to level with Absolution because they think skeletons and zombies are slow, they are melee, they don't deal enough damage, but I can tell you, if you're doing things correctly, you will end up running through maps with the Quicksilver Flask on, while your minions are killing everything around you. Also, I think this build is stronger against bosses, and when you reach the end games, you can unleash a pretty decent amount of damage without any investment while you're working your way towards your endgame build. At the end of the day, they are both very strong leveling builds. They perform very well even in a league starter environment without any fancy equipment, so pick whichever you prefer. I'm going with this one because I found it more fun to play. One last thing before going on, this is a leveling build. This is how I level my minion builds. This is not optimized for racing or for pushing the very end game content. You should still be able to clear most of the atlas with this without any problems, without too much investment. You should also be able to clear content like Shaper without too many problems, but this is not meant to push further than that. That was a long intro. Let's jump into the build. Here in PoE I have the passive trees with several breakpoints, one at level 20 and one for each lab. I also have one for level 90 endgame in case you need it. Gems, I've made an endgame setup for when you're mapping and a leveling setup with breakpoint for each major level. I've also made a cheat sheet and I like to keep this on my second monitor while leveling. So in the center you can see the leveling tree up till level 70. The green part is until level 35, the first lab. The yellow is until level 55, the second lab. And the red part is for level 70, the third lab. Then on the sides we have each act with which gem is taken after which quest and how much it costs. So for example, after relock we get Freezing Pulse as a reward and we can buy Raise Zombie in the shop for 1 wisdom. Pretty straightforward. In the bottom right part there is the Ascendancy order for the labyrinth and the Mastery order for the tree. Okay, now I'm going to explain everything step by step. So starting at the Act 1, after we kill Hillock, we get Freezing Pulse as a reward and we should be having Arcane Surge from the box in the first map. We are keeping Arcane Surge at level 1 and we are socketing it with Freezing Pulse. At the shop we can buy Raise Zombie for wisdom and we start leveling Raise Zombies. In the Act 1 we are looking for 3 link blue for the Summon Raging Spirit setup. Okay, after the Tidal quest we are picking up Summon Phantasm as a reward. We are going to use this with Holy Flame Totem. Then we do the Egg quest. They give us Frost Blink, Summon Raging Spirits as a rewards. And then Holy Flame Totem and Flame Wall becomes available in the shop for 1 wisdom each. At this point we can start using the Holy Flame Totem with Summon Phantasm linked, and every time he does a kill he have a chance to spawn a Phantasm, which is a minion that helps us deal damage. We can use Flame Wall on top of the Holy Flame Totem to boost his damage, and we can also start using Summon Raging Spirits to clear out the remaining monsters. Eventually you can drop Freezing Pulse right now. And then at the Prison Waypoint we can buy Infernal Legion and Minion damage in the shop. Try to buy at least 1 minion damage. We will need 2 in total. The second one you can buy it later eventually if you don't have no transmute. And now we can start using Summon Raging Spirit linked with Infernal Legion and minion damage. You can check this also in PoE. Here we have Holy Flame Totem with Summon Phantasm level 4, Level 4 we have Frost Blink, Flame Wall. Level 8 we start using some Origin Spirit with minion damage and Infernal Legion. Back to the cheat sheet. Brutus, after Brutus we got Flame Dash as a reward, and we can buy Summon Skeletons, Precision, Vitality for 1 Transmute in the shop. In the beginning it will be very hard to get that many Transmute. Even by selling unidentified magic items, you most likely won't get 6 Transmute by everything. For now, you can skip Precision, Vitality and 1 minion damage. We will need them at level 18 when we will do the full minion switch. Moving on, at the Merveil waypoint, you can get Flash Offering as a reward. A couple of things I forgot to mention. When you get Flame Dash, you can remove Frostblink. And also, Merveil is dealing cold damage, so you will need Sapphire Ring for that fight. And if you can't find one, you can use a recipe with an iron ring and a blue gem to get a sapphire ring. And you can find these kind of tips in the note section in case you need a reminder. Now we are in Act 2. At this point, usually I'm using some Origin Spirits to clear the normal packs, and then for bigger packs I'm using the Holy Flame Totem plus Flame Wall combo. In the Act 2 we will need a total of 2 blue links for when we will do this switch. And from level 15 plus we can also start finding a Bone Spirit Shield. The Bone Spirit Shield is used to make a Life Flask of Animation which heals Minion, and this flask is used with an helmet and an Alteration Orb to make a +1 Minion helmet, which is like this one, which is very useful for leveling. And when you are making your filters for the new league, you can make a rule to show every Bone Spirit Shield. It's pretty easy, I'm gonna show you right now. So I usually do semi-strict for leveling, and if you do customize and you write Bone Spirit Shield, see leveling summon recipe, you can jump that here. He normally is disabled, you can show, and he's gonna show you every Bone Spirit Shield you drop. Okay, Act 2, after Fidelitas, we can get Desecrate as a reward, and we can buy Summon Skitterbots from the shop for 1 alteration. Then moving on, after the Weaver, we can finally do the Minion switch. After the Weaver, we get Minion Speed as a reward, and we can buy Minion Speed, Melee Physical Support, and Minion Life for 1 alteration. So here the Minion Speed is top priority because we are going to do Skeletons and Zombies pre-link with Minion Damage and Minion Speed. The Melee Physical Support, we are going to use it when we find a 4 link for Skeleton and Zombies. And the Minion Life, we are going to use it after the first lab for the Raise Specter setup. So the priority here is Minion Speed first, then Minion Life, and then Melee Physical Support. After the Weaver, after we get all the gems, we can finally switch to Skeletons and Zombies, and we are using Skeletons with Minion Damage, Minion Speed, Zombies with Minion Damage, Minion Speed. We are dropping everything else, of course, and we are using Skitterbots with Infernal Legion. If you manage to get Precision, you can start using Precision. Same things for Vitality. We will be using Desecrate and the Flash Offerings and Flame Dash as a movement skill. If you don't have Precision or Vitality, or if you are unable to use them, don't worry, you will be having enough damage and enough survivability. Okay, moving on, Act 3. Try to look for red, blue links. 4 links. We can start finding them from level 24, so don't forget to check the vendors. We will need them for the skeleton and the zombie setups, and basically it's the same as before. We are adding the melee physical damage support. Then after we do the Tallman quest, we get Convocation as a reward, pretty useful skill. And then after Gravitius, we get Raise Specter as a reward. Now for the Raise Specter, we need to wait after the first lab. This is because they are pretty squishy in the early levels, and we absolutely need this node right here, especially the plus 30% to elemental resistance. These, with the minion life, should be enough to make them survive almost anything. Usually I'm doing the lab just before the last boss of the Act 3. That fight is very annoying for minion builds, especially the minion just before the boss, so having that node is very helpful. After that we reach the Act Or if you still need, look for red, blue, blue, blue for the skeleton and the zombies. You need 2 in total. And also start looking for another 4 link, blue, 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 for the Spectre and Golem setup. Here the Dried Lake is just the first map. We are getting the Summon Carrion Golem and is giving us a super big boost. We are going to socket him in the same socket group of the Specters, so he gets the minion life as well. And then moving on, after the Malachi, we get the multi-strike as a reward, and we can also buy a multi-strike from the shop. This is not very mandatory. It's a damage boost for our skeletons and zombie, and you're gonna replace the melee physical support for multi-strike. If you don't want to buy the second multi-strike, or if you don't have the currency, don't worry, you are not going to miss a lot of damage. I usually take the reward and don't buy the other, to be honest. Now, to recap everything, now we should be using summon skeletons with minion damage, minion speed, multi-strike, raise zombie with minion damage, minion speed, multi-strike, raise specter, summon carrion golem with minion life, and then we should be having the convocation somewhere, and then flesh offering, desecrate, flame dash somewhere, vitality and precision if you manage to get them. Keep them low level. At this point you should be having level 4, 5, 6. Usually I keep precision level 2 or 3 till Kitava and vitality 5, 6, maybe 7, Kitava 10. So you don't need to level them up because they are gonna eat your mana. Okay, now Act 5 doesn't really give us anything useful. The next big point is the Act 6, the Lilyrot quest, which unlocks Assassin's Mark, Dread Banner, Pride, Brutality, Impale, Myth Shield, and Feeding Frenzy. Most of these gems you can get them from the Siosa in Act 3, but we don't really have the need to use them in Act 3, so we can wait till Lilyrot. It's very useful to do Lilyrot in any case, so we can wait till Act 6. Okay, at this point we can start using the pre-map setup. So Summon Skeletons is the skill that will go 5 and eventually 6 links. We are using Summon Skeleton with minion damage, multi-strike, minion speed, melee physical damage, and if you manage to find a 6 link, you can use Impale or Predator. Predator gives our skeletons a way to focus one target. It gives you literally a skill that tells focus that target. Then we have zombies with Freezing Frenzy, so we remove the minion damage and we use Feeding Frenzy. Minion speed, multi-strike. If you don't have multi-strike, melee physical damage support is okay. Then we have Raise Spectre, Summon Carrion Golem, Myth Shield, Minion Life. Auras, we are using Dread Banner, Pride, Mosquito Boss, and Assassin's Mark as cores. You can also use Watcher's Mark. The problem with this, it has a high dex requirement, and we are lacking on dex right now. Assassin's Mark is more doable. Then we have the Flesh Offering with Desecrate and Flame Dash, and then we have 3 optional sockets. Here I have a custom damage taken setup. You can use Immortal Call or Killskin or Morten Shell with increased duration. We also have to put Convocation somewhere, so if you have an unset ring, you can use a custom damage taken 3 link. If you don't, you can drop increased duration and use Convocation, or if you want, you can skip completely the custom damage taken. We don't really need it, we are leveling, and we don't really need the custom damage taken setup. It's optional. If you want another layer of survivability, it's up to you. And basically from this point, we can go till maps. Before looking at the endgame setup for the gems, I want to spend 2 words about the equipment. Starting from the wound, if you manage to get the Essence of Fear, you can craft a minion damage wound, and this is the only way we have to get some minion damage on gear while leveling. And you can use this till you get a good convoking wound, by the way. The rest of the gear is just armor, energy shield with life and res. Try to get the plus level of socket minion gems. Here you can get up to +3, but most likely you will get +2, and that's all you need. Here we are going to socket the Raise Spectre setup. Regarding the Specters, we want to use the Carnage Chieftain. They are in Act 2. and you can jump into a map and spam Desecrate. We are using these as first and second Specter, and they are giving our minion frenzy charges. For the third and fourth, we are going to use the Host Chieftain, which are the same monster but Act 6 version, and they giving us power charges. To get the fourth Specters, we need the gem level 25, and we can get 21 from the gem, plus 2 from the Ascendancy, and 2 from the helmet, and we can also get plus 1 from the Convoking Wand or the Amulet eventually. Okay, now let's start looking at the Endgame Gem Setup. We are using Val, Summon Skeleton, if possible, with Multi-Strike, Minion Damage, Impale, Brutality, Melee Physical Damage. If you want to use Predator, you can drop Melee Physical Damage. Then we have in the helmet, Raise Spectre, Minion Life, Mate Shield, Raise Zombie. Utility, Flame Dash, Convocation, Assassin's Mark with Life Tap. Life Tap makes our skill use life instead of mana, and since we are a little bit short on mana, this is a quality of life. Summon Carrion Golem with Maim and Feeding Frenzy. We have the Offering Trigger. Probably in the beginning it's a little bit hard to get the Trigger Wand. If you manage to get the Trigger Wand, is a craft from June. You can use Desecrate, Life Tap, and Flesh Offering. Remember to use Desecrate before Flesh Offering because the triggers goes from top to the bottom. And if you don't have the trigger, you can still use these setup, but you have to use them manually. Banner, we're using Dread Banner with Generosity. Be sure Generosity is linked only with Dread Banner, because Generosity is removing the effect of the aura from you and boosting the aura for your minions. Auras, we are using Determination and Pride. And then, as an alternative way to play, you can eventually drop Pride to use Summon Skitterboss and Tempest Shield. This will give you some spell block chance, which will help with survivability if you have the need. If you feel brave, you can drop Determination instead of Pride to get more damage. Okay, now just to show you some numbers so you have an idea on what to expect. Here I have a level 73 with the endgame gear. The gems here are level 20 with 0 quality. We have no level 21 gems. We have 23% unreserved mana. We have enough mana to play decently. We have almost 4k life. We have a decent amount of armor. We have some block. We are doing 1.7 million damage with 9 skeletons. This can be further boosted if you are brave enough, removing Determination. And also keep in mind we are missing a key node here. With this one we are going to boost a little bit the damage, but the survivability a lot, because if we are using the Bone Offering, this will give us a lot of block and spell block chance. And by doing something like this, and we are still able to output 1.8 million DPS while near the cap for the block and spell block chance. And that's it for this leveling guide. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be playing this exact build in the league start, so if you have any question, please feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can jump on stream on twitch.tv/Bushido and ask directly there. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want more content like this, and remember, stay safe, Exile.